Welcome one, welcome all. It is a Monday night. We got a lot of sports to cover, a lot of decent politics to cover, and you know what? A lot of fun pop culture to cover today. Yay. We actually have a more fun day of the regulars than normal.
We actually do.
Which I'm really excited about because last one was a bit spicy.
It was a lot.
So let's go ahead and have ourselves a wonderful night in talking sports and enjoying each other's company. Grab your drinks. It's Monday night. Welcome to the regulars. I'm Cody Decker.
I'm Tanya Ray Fox.
How you doing?
And I'm doing great. I'm in a much better mood entering the show than I was on Friday.
That's always good.
A little more scattered, but pulled it together.
Happens.
Rundown's delightful.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that.
We got a lot to cover today, and honestly, a lot of good stuff to cover. Like, for instance, we're going to get to the World Cup, which we are both flat out addicted to. Mm-hmm. I cannot stop watching. I'm fucking addicted. Match going on right now. I'm still waiting to see. Did the weather report even come to an end over there for France? Because I want to see the second half of that match.
Oh, it's got to be done.
It's got to be, but there was lightning in the air that's in Philly, so they had to postpone it. So it was like an hour and a half. So
I never even thought about.
I've been waiting to get back to that game, but we got that. We got some other great stuff to talk about. Hell, we're doing like a little movie corner today.
We're 46 minutes in to France.
So still, yeah, the rain is still delaying this match. So.
1-0. Damn.
Yep. So we got more Mbappe tonight. So maybe good news. It gets delayed enough that we get to watch it.
Yeah, well, at that point, they might just end up letting Mbappe rest. I don't know. Like, I am worried about them having to get the rest in the middle of the game.
Maybe, yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
So, but we'll be talking about what people are planning to do in this final game of the group stage, because teams that have wrapped things up are going to start behaving a little differently. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, it was all good. Weekend was good.
Great weekend,
we took
a lot
the
of
regulars
fun.
live. We were regulars out in the wild.
Boy, oh boy, I gotta tell you. These World Cup games are gonna fucking kill me, man.
There's a meme going around of Pep Guardiola, and it's like him just like sitting in his manager's chair, and there's like a empty seat next to him, and he just turns and starts talking to literally no one. Mm-hmm. And it was like me after watching 30 World Cup games in 7 days.
Yeah. No, see me, it's my liver is not going to keep me alive through this thing. No. I'm realizing, and a few people actually said this online. The World Cup is not actually about soccer. It's about getting the world's biggest alcoholics all together to party in a new town, and we are partying like crazy. And I think there's a lot of pent-up aggression from the Qatar one because there was no booze allowed. Mm-hmm. So now everybody's just making up for fucking lost time. Holy hell, this has become a drink fest. You go see the Germany game, there's going to be beer around. You go to Mexico, cerveza left and right, man.
Oh, yeah. It's like... and also, the vibe is something that I think a lot of us needed here. Like, we've been in the darkest timeline, and the vibrance of having everybody here and enjoying their time here and sharing culture, sharing food, sharing drink, songs, all of the things that are happening, and the camaraderie that's happening at the games. We needed it. Like, we needed to see that we were part of a global culture.
Yeah, we're finally. Honestly, it's the first time in a while we felt that way because it's hard not to feel like you're a part of an imperialistic regime sometimes.
We are. Well, I mean, it's not that we feel like we are. We are.
I know. I was being nice.
Okay. We are the bad people.
Sometimes.
But truly, for us, I do think that, at least for me, all I can say is for me personally, it has been incredibly necessary to feel like a human being that can connect with people outside, and to have people come here. A lot of people have said, I was scared to come here and whatever, and understandably so. And there are still Iranians and people who are having a difficult time getting here. There are people who can't afford visas to come over because Trump jacked up the price, things like that. But upon getting here, the reception from the American people, whether it is in the Northeast, Boston, Philly, whatever, whether it is in Kansas, whether it is out here on the West Coast, they have felt like a little bit reminder of we get propagandized too by American media and by the world media. We get told about who Americans are more often than we get to actually experience it for ourselves. And when we come here and experience it, it's actually been amazing.
Yeah, I saw a great thing that was going around. The World Cup is actually where all the cousins get together that never get to see each other because all our parents hate each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good way to put it.
It's a really good way to put it.
We're
all the cousins. We all get along great.
Yeah, and a lot of, I feel like a lot of people, someone made a really good point where they were like, a lot of people's, especially Europeans, ideas of what Americans are and who Americans are the people who can afford to travel to Europe, which is very often not our best.
Yes.
Right? Like it's, money doesn't do great things to people over here. And a lot of times they're getting the more entitled American over in Europe. But when you come here, you get to experience the people who are actually making up the fabric of the country within the context of it. And I do like that.
Absolutely. And it's been great to see. And we'll get into a little bit more of the actual World Cup play and what's going to take place. But listen, I'm kind of excited to open up with this because not only do we have a draft tomorrow, it looks like we're going to have some serious theatrics beforehand, if you believe reports from, and I do tend to believe Shams and Wendy, so.
Yeah. I don't know. This has gone crazy.
Talk about how sad you are. Tell the people.
Well, the Celtics are rumored to have a pretty strong interest in trading for Giannis, much more than we previously might have thought. It is completely at this point down to the Celtics and the Heat. That is like essentially what the reporting has been, is that it is completely down to the Celtics and the Heat, and it's really just a matter of, who puts together a package and whatever.
Yes.
Giannis is gone. People kept trying to say maybe not. No, it's happening. There are a ton of varying opinions about what this would be for the Celtics. We're going to talk about the Celtics because it is the more interesting play. Let's be honest. The Heat are like, we really don't, they're a little bit of an unknown entity, whereas the Celtics, we know exactly what this would look like and what they'd have to give up specifically
Do we have an idea what the Heat would need to give up, though? Because I know what the Celtics need to give up, but because here's what's been said to me a bunch of times, specifically by Derek Fisher. He doesn't really understand the idea of putting Bam and Giannis together. That seems a little problematic.
I don't quite understand it either, although I could see the benefit of it with Giannis as an older player. Like, I mean, they're both not young, right? But like, I could see Eric Spoelstra and the Heat, Pat Riley, that specific organization being like, why can't we have two bigs? Like, they are the kind of organization that would do something like that.
Okay.
I do wonder what they would give up if they're not giving up Bam.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating, right?
Right? Like, that's the whole thing around the Giannis trade for the Celtics is like, they got to be planning on giving up Jaylen Brown if they're getting Giannis.
If you believe reports, that is exactly what they're doing.
Yes. And so I'll let you know that Jaylen Brown was asked today about, or he was asked yesterday, and how he feels about what's going on right now. And he said, it just gives me more fuel to the fire, to all the people that doubted me, that want me to do this or want me gone. You're turning me into a monster. This is like a lot of the stuff that he's been kind of spouting across the course of the offseason. Every time there's trade rumors, he has this relationship to it. So if he doesn't get traded, he'll be fine. This happened last offseason. So this isn't going to do damage to him being able to operate within the Celtics organization. He's always good with it. The question is this actually a good move for them? And I want to talk to you about what DeMarcus Cousins said, because I think it can lead into a good conversation for us. He said he's sort of hearing the sirens before the fire he said Celtics have more of a championship window with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I don't quite understand why they would go all in for as far as Giannis is coming to a close, and as far as his peak in the NBA, that's coming to a close. When you think about it from that standpoint, it doesn't quite make sense. Now, I agree that there are red flags with bringing Giannis in, but I don't agree with them for the same reasons that DeMarcus Cousins is saying right now.
Okay.
I believe that I think Giannis could absolutely continue to be a role player, a star on a title team for the next 10 years. I don't think that that's an issue. What I think is an issue is the fact that Giannis is an unknown entity in a pair that we already know works together. You and I talked about this a lot across the course of the regular season about how people seem to, for whatever reason, wipe their brains Men in Black style about what Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have done together. Like, I hate to break it to everybody, but not every single championship caliber team is a dynasty. But the reality is they have been to 6 Eastern Conference championship games. Yep. They've played in 2 NBA finals, have a title. This is what they've built together. This is a duo that built everything they built together and have always been successful at it all the way to Eastern Conference finals until this year when Jason Tatum was coming back from an Achilles and they decided they weren't going to build a title contending team around him. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like, that's the only thing that happened. It would be one thing if a very healthy title contending roster built to be a title contender had not made the Eastern Conference Finals. I could see a little bit of panic around that, like at this point. That's not what happened. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were playing excellently together. Mm-hmm. Cody, you tell me what the point is of breaking up that duo to see if there's a maybe 3% chance that Jason Tatum and Giannis are better together than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. What's the point?
I don't know. I really don't see the point. All I know is that you're willing to trade away the younger. Now, here's the thing. I disagree with the age thing. There's no proof right now that Giannis is coming to the end of his prime.
No proof.
What is a prime now? The guy is in incredible shape. If he stays healthy.
Guys are in their prime until they're 38, 39
let's be
now.
real clear.
Yeah.
LeBron James is about to get possibly like a max deal, and he's going into his 42-year season.
KD is 7 foot tall and like 100 pounds, and he's still
I'm sorry. I'm not willing to have that conversation about somebody not being in their prime anymore until we eventually see that they're no longer in their prime, because primes can be extended at this point.
Right.
However, if we are going to have the age conversation, Jaylen Brown is younger. If we're going to have the... I honestly do not understand this, because Jaylen Brown has been healthy for years. He's done nothing but do every possible role. He was the Finals MVP, if I remember correctly, was he not?
He was.
He was the Finals MVP. He was nearly the MVP in the goddamn league last fucking year, and yet somehow he still gets shit on by certain people. I don't know where this narrative comes from. I don't know if it's because he's outspoken and because we just don't like it when our athletes are a little outspoken.
They don't like his personality. There is a part of it.
But you know what he is? He's a fucking good player, and honestly... You think you're getting less personality with Giannis coming in?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What the fuck are you talking about? And by the way, I love Giannis. I would love to have him here in LA. There's no universe I see that happening, but there are rumors that the Lakers are trying to get on this, but I don't know how that's remotely possible. I'm just sitting here going like, dude, great. Go ahead and do it. I don't see how it's an upgrade. How about that? If your argument is, well, now we got a guy that can go into the paint and we can handle the three with Tatum instead of Brown and just only shoot threes, I'm like, you could do that now. Yeah. I don't know why you're doing this only with Giannis coming in. However, it is some star power.
In fact, when they've been their most effective, when they've made their adjustments, has been, okay, we got to break up the three ball, and it's Jason driving the lane. It's Jaylen Brown setting stuff up in the paint. Like, that is absolutely stuff that they have done exceptionally well before, because there was an era prior to this, before this, where they weren't the three ball team that they became that won the title. And so I agree. We have no proof it's an upgrade. It is very rare that you have a duo that works as well and has been historically successful as Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, where people continue to try to break it up for no other reason than because they seem to have the expectation of them that really doesn't, that they've already risen to.
Well, here's the thing that never made sense to me. This is why we were actually shitting on it when we were talking about it before. We're like, well, that just doesn't make sense, simply because they make the same money. So you're really just swapping the same amount of money, and you're getting older with your team. And why would you trade away the guy that fucking carried your goddamn team all season long? That being said, listen, it is some star power. I'll tell you right now, high off the glass in here, this is a guy named O the Great. He watches all of our stuff and loves it. He's having a little bit of trouble getting there. He's a Celtics fan. He fucking hates this. I'm having trouble understanding about this, and maybe you can shed some light on this. There is an alarming trend of new NBA ownership groups destroying what was there before they brought in this team. Suns, Mavericks, Bucks, and now Boston. Do you think there's actual validity to that? New ownership group wants to make it their own, put their stamp on it? If so, that's fucking stupid.
100%.
Jesus.
100%.
That's fucking stupid.
Thing. It's absolutely a thing. Now, I will say, Suns ownership has been trash, right? Like,
god awful.
And that was like a whole thing. And then they went into a thing where it was, oh, this is going to be the big new era, and that has not turned out to be the case.
Boom.
The Celtics had really good ownership, and so it's I feel like it's unfamiliar territory a little bit, but at the same time, this does feel like a forced narrative. I can't really envision a world where even someone like Brad Stevens, who will make big moves, who will make the hard decisions, who will get rid of players, like, none of us want to see Jrue Holiday go, but like, he did what he had to do. Like, he's going to do what he has to do. This doesn't seem like a move that makes sense for him. It doesn't seem like a move that Joe Mazzulla would particularly want. In fact, Joe kind of he's like, give me the team and I'm going to make them work. And he has a great he has very close relationships with Jaylen and Jason. So I don't think it's coming from him. So that absolutely makes it seem like it could be an ownership thing. And it's a really tricky game to play, because could Giannis turn this team right back around, and him and Jason Tatum are the most electric duo we've seen in the last fucking however many years. Sure, but the risk on the other side of that is that you just broke up one of the most successful duos in the league, one of the most successful duos in the history of the Celtics, really. I mean, since the 90s. And for what? To bring in a superstar like that doesn't fit into your system in any capacity, that's going to be a problem. So it's a real gamble. And I'm always confused when you have something that works that the fans love, that you're like, but what if we fucked it up?
It's fascinating to me that we're watching a very unique era of parity in the NBA. No one's winning multiple titles in a row right now. It's been very impressive to actually see.
It's been 8 years of someone new winning every year.
And it's been very impressive to see. And I think just, the Golden State Warriors did this to us. I think that, of course, the Lakers have done this to us. And then, of course, the Bulls in the 90s did this to us. And then the Lakers and Celtics and again and again. We're so used to these dynasties that now we don't fucking give validity to teams that are winning championships because everyone can't be great. They all are fucking great. They're all fucking great. Each one of these guys can fucking win a championship. They're all fucking great. It's not a league of Jordan anymore. It's a league of fucking 50 Jordans.
Yeah.
It's batshit. So yeah, these playoffs, anyone can find. Would you have been shocked if the Minnesota Timberwolves won the championship?
No.
Denver?
I thought they could.
Yeah, fucking the Lakers, if the Lakers were healthy, obviously.
Yeah.
But after the March they had, fuck yeah, they could have won the championship. You could have made an argument for Cleveland winning. You could have made an argument for Detroit winning. Like, they're all fucking astonishing.
By the way, to your point, the Knicks won.
The Knicks won the fucking title.
The Knicks won the title. No, there was no world where people were predicting that. And, part of the problem here is that there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking around these things. So for the Knicks example, you and I haven't talked about this, and mostly it's because I don't think I can do it without being offensive, quite honestly. But the backlash to Becky Hammon and her comments about Jalen Brunson and whatever. So she made these comments in 2023 and said,
very famously,
the teams cannot build around a small point guard and win titles. That's, she was speaking actual facts about what we had seen in trends in the league.
It was just factual at the time. We hadn't seen it.
The backlash has been so extreme that even Knicks players, people are calling on her to apologize. There's been this incredibly misogynistic, sexist response to her as if she's the only person who ever made this critique. But this, by the way, is a critique and a conversation that's been being had among NBA circles and in the NBA media for years and years. She was another person who echoed it and was very blunt in her assessment. Now, that was made in 2023. You know who wasn't on the team in 2023?
Who's that?
Fucking OG, fucking Cat. Guess what they did? They actually improved the team to make it a winnable roster around Jalen Brunson. She was not wrong.
Yeah.
She was wrong in the sense that, yes, there was pieces to put around him, that could work, but she wasn't wrong that, that iteration of the team was not going to win a title with Jalen Brunson being their best player. And so these the Monday morning quarterbacking of what teams could have, should have, would have done has gotten really out of control in a league that, to your point, there's new winners every year that we don't necessarily see coming, or they're great, but we didn't know they were that good, or we would have bet the Spurs were going to beat the fucking Knicks. They didn't. This is how the league is. We're supposed to like that. And also, Giannis going to the Celtics feels like a move that from 10 years ago.
Yeah, it feels
right?
It feels like a little late to the party.
It feels like it's this would have fucking slapped in 2016.
Oh, bro, you should have seen this right when Asher Roth fucking released "I Love College."
That's what it really feels like. Before Trump was elected, this would have fucking eaten.
Oh, dude, Obama would have loved this in the Oval Office, bro.
That's the vibe.
Oh, the golden age back then.
And it makes it sound like I don't like Giannis, and that's not the case.
I like Giannis fine. I'd love to have him here. We won't.
Absolutely. But whatever. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. But you better be really sure. It's so wild that Jalen and Jason have done everything they can do to be like, hey guys, we play so fucking well together in fact, we play better together every year we've been together. Jason Tatum's played his entire career with Jaylen Brown. They have built around, even with those big contracts, they've been able to build around them. They aren't going to get a smaller contract with Giannis. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. On what planet does this team now, hold on, Cody, and I've said this before and I should make this clear.
That's it.
If you can get Giannis with Jalen and Jason, Yes, of course I would fucking take that. I would
fucking
take that.
fantastic.
I would take the big three any day.
Jesus.
That's not what's on the table.
That sounds like a monstrous team. Now, by the way, Tatum and Giannis doesn't sound like a bad team. It just doesn't sound like a better team.
Exactly. It sounds like it could, at best, it could be as good as he already is with Jaylen Brown.
And that's what the question is going to be. Oh, can this team be as good as it was with Jaylen Brown? And then my question is, why the fuck are we trying to find out?
Yeah, what kind of game are you playing here?
What are you doing?
Now
you have a winning hand, and you're kind of You're like, I'll still take 3.
I would now, as much as Celtics fans are going to be mad at me for saying this, but I love Derek White with all my heart and soul. I don't want him gone. But if dealing Derek White and Peyton Pritchard and some picks somehow got you Giannis, you do that. Mm-hmm. You absolutely do that. If you have a big 3 of the Jays and Giannis, that's an insane roster. But that's not going to happen. So that's the thing. Like a big 3, yeah. But a big 2 swapping out one fucking MVP candidate for another one seems goofy.
It is a little bit, but hey, listen. Whatever, man. It's your team.
I'm not in charge of it, and if I were, I wouldn't be doing this.
Hey, listen, my team's got enough on its plate right now.
Really
I don't got to worry about this right now. We have like 19 people to sign at the moment, and that, by the way, a lot of cap space for the Lakers. That cap space is going to disappear real fucking quick. I'm a little worried about what's about to take place.
Do they have to sign Luka?
No, they have to sign Austin, LeBron. They got to bring back Jackson Hayes. They got to bring back Luke Kornet.
Hayes isn't going to be that expensive.
No, it's just at the end of the day, there's just a lot of numbers. That money's going to shrink real fast. And then they also got to get a quote-unquote big center. Who knows who that's going to be? Is it going to be Lou Dort? Is it going to be Mitchell Robinson?
It's just going to be AD.
It's just... I'd like to see it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd like to see it. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But I'd like to see it.
I mean, AD is also like not the biggest. I mean, I'd
like to see it.
You could get a bigger guy if you wanted.
I'd like to see it.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. I just would like to see it. But that's that for headline number 1. Hey, let's get back over to the World Cup for headline number 2 because, dude, it's been amazing. Messi, 2 more goals today, most goals of all time. Here's my actual question before we actually get into all the details. How much is this going to fuck up Ronaldo for his second game, him trying to score hog, and it's going to fuck them up completely because who do they got? Who do they got again? Oh, England? Oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be fun. Ronaldo's going to go home. I love it.
I'm a big England fan because of a couple of players on the team. I don't care about the I can't get invested for some reason in the Ronaldo being bad thing. So I was like, yeah, no, I already knew this.
I'm just having fun with it.
But we are going to talk about it later because I do want to bring that conversation up back at a later date regarding the whole Messi Ronaldo thing and the GOAT conversation and how it got here.
Sure.
However, Lionel Messi, absolutely crushing. Obviously, we are in a weird space with discussing the Team USA because you're not allowed to be excited about Team USA right now. There's a whole thing where Tim Howard.
Yes, he threw some cold water over it. I believe he said his direct quote was literally impossible.
Really, they said literally impossible that the Team USA could win the World Cup. My discussion in it when I was discussing it on Threads was, is it literally impossible? No, nothing is literally impossible, of course. Yes, that is a long shot of all long shots. Currently, right now, what I have seen from them is the best I've seen from them since I've been watching men's soccer in the 90s. It is the best 2-game stretch in a tournament I've ever seen from this team. And also, yes, the competition has not been England and Germany, right? So, okay. But I do see, because I understand the game, how that team could, at their best, hold their own against the best teams in the world. It's always about matchups. It's always about how you get to the next round, what kind of luck you might get, and how you match up with the team. And I expect this team, and I'll say this, and this is not something I would have said 2 weeks ago, I think USA has no excuses at this point to not win their first knockout game. They need to make it past their first knockout game to not be a disappointment for me based on what I have seen now. Of course, I don't expect them to win the World Cup, but I got to be honest. If you look back at 2004, the 2004 Euros, this was like a heyday of some of the greatest soccer stars in the world. So all the people we grew up knowing were massive soccer stars were all these huge stars in Europe at the time. So it's the Euros, and these rosters were stacked. England was stacked. Germany was stacked. They had Belgium and the Netherlands and Spain and Portugal. All these teams were stacked. The Greece won the Euros that year. Greece was a team full of Greek people no one had heard of. They won the Euros. They got a little lucky, right? England gets knocked out by, I think it was like Portugal or somebody, because David Beckham misses his first penalty kick, which doesn't happen. David Beckham doesn't miss penalty kicks. These are the little tiny things that happen where it's like, then you get to your, the final, the Greece is there, and suddenly this team that had no fucking chance to win against that stacked of a field has won the tournament. Do I think that's going to happen for the United States? No, but I think reducing the conversation to this is all they can do, and then when you try to be optimistic and talk really tactically about what they're capable of, and people are like, let's just slow it down, hold your horses, it's very frustrating because it's like there is an actual conversation to be had here about what it would take. There aren't a ton of, oh my God, world beaters in this cup right now. There aren't teams that I am wildly afraid of across the board. There's maybe 3 teams that I'm like genuinely afraid of. They don't meet those 3 teams on the way to the fucking, semifinals. Do I expect it? No. Are we allowed to like talk about what their peak could be while also not expecting it? I, as a fan, am capable of that. A lot of people on the internet seem to think you have to be as negative as humanly possible before you can get excited about the potential of a team you're watching.
Okay. That's weird and stupid.
Well, it's like every time I'm like, that was an incredible performance. Here's what I liked about it. There's some, loser who's like, or 10 of them, quite honestly, who's like, I simply just don't think that we need to be getting this excited about a win over Australia. And it's like, okay,
we won 2 World Cup matches in a row. Yeah, we should absolutely get excited about that. Listen, don't worry about fucking losers on the internet when it comes to sports.
Well, it's also apparently Tim Howard. Tim Howard being a dumber.
Listen,
no, I'm just kidding.
Actually,
I'm just kidding.
I did, because the rest of his thing, he goes through a whole thing because he actually shows some, but his thing was all like tamper your expectations. Now, do I think the literally impossible statement is a bit over the top? Absolutely do. However, but he did go into a little bit of detail when he was talking about be excited, but also they have to play 4 perfect games in a row against the greatest players currently. He doesn't see that happening, and I got to admit, fucking neither do I. Yeah. However, how great would that be? Fuck yeah, that'd be great. But I'm with you on getting back to the first knockout round stage. But that also means, listen, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's not the right thing to do or not, I think if you want to give Pulisic some minutes, if he's healthy enough to do it just to get his rhythm going, absolutely. If we need to protect other people from yellow cards, you fucking do it. Got to protect the player from themselves sometimes, because we need this team as healthy as humanly possible going into the knockout round. Period, stop. This is the most excited a Team USA has ever been, at least in my lifetime.
100%. No, it's ever.
This is badass. I'm really enjoying this now. When they're knocked out, I'm hopefully going to keep that World Cup fever going, because I do know the inevitable is likely that they get knocked out. But they got me believing. They got Zlatan saying that it's possible. That alone's got me fucking going. Now, of course, fucking Alexi Lawless will be next to him, pour some cold water or some shit. But listen, they'll just make fun of Alexi Lawless again. And by the way, I'm loving how much Alexi Lawless is just, it seems like everyone, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what you believe in, no matter who is your God, everyone agrees that Alexi Lawless fucking sucks. And it's great.
And the difference, he's a perfect example of the difference between Alexi Lawless and Tim Howard is that, like, Tim Howard he loves Team USA so much. He said that playing for Team USA, he was like, that is the dream. No matter who I played for, English Premier League, Everton, no matter how incredible my career was, putting on that jersey and playing for the United States was the pinnacle of my career, and every single game I played in for United States was so important to me. That was the most important thing to me as a player and the biggest honor. It means a lot to him to root for the United States team, and when you know how it feels when you're so invested, and when it's so personal, you almost can't hope. Like, I think for him, he's like, I need to stay as grounded as possible, because the idea that this team could rise to that level, and for this team, by the way, this is the team that Tim built. Tim Howard is the most important player in the history of the U.S. men's national team, and second place is far away. It's far away. So I understand the stakes for him in becoming invested and in believing in this team, and how, somewhat nerve-wracking it is to say, holy shit, Tim Howard is as important to any national team as any player we've had. And, I understand that part. As far as the rest of the field right now, I would say that Cabo Verde is the sweetheart, especially after this weekend.
Everyone agrees.
Everybody is like really on board. I love a sweetheart team. I love a team that has been able to kind of come out of the shadows in their first cup. And this is a tiny island nation that has actually a lot of representation in the Northeast.
Size of Rhode Island, though.
Yeah, immigrants living in the Northeast, specifically in like the Boston and New York areas. And it's been sensational. Goaltender, absolutely, like, we can't get Vozinha's story is amazing. His mom was at the game. Mm-hmm. Did you know?
I did not know.
She was able to finally afford the visa after he has like 90 million Instagram followers.
Yeah, it's crazy now. What, do we actually know what the numbers actually at when he started at 40,000?
He started at 45,000, and the last I had checked,
it was like 12 million last I checked.
Last I checked, it was close to 16.
Jesus.
I think. Yeah,
awesome.
Something
awesome.
like that. So
God, this guy's never gonna have to pay for a meal for the rest of his life.
Those are like that to me. They are the sweethearts of the tournament. Mm-hmm. Cote d'Ivoire has been fun to watch, but it seems like they're kind of getting a rough draw. Any other teams that have stuck out to you where you've just been like, I've really enjoyed watching that specific team?
Morocco, I enjoyed watching them.
Yeah.
But that's not the team. You know who I feel really bad for? And God, forgive me. It's slipping my mind right now. They're in a tough bracket. Oh.
Tunisia?
Not Tunisia. Didn't they fire their head coach and their manager in the first game? Yeah, no, not Tunisia. No, it'll come to me. Have
you been seeing the absolutely terrifying memes of Erling Haaland, where he's like, I mean, he's that huge blonde Swedish dude.
I'm well aware who he is. He is terrifying, especially when he's running after people.
Yes, that's all the memes. They're really good.
Horrifying.
He's been really fun. If you think of the team, of course, let me know.
It'll come to me because this is a team that has a shot of losing all three of their games.
By the way, the Iran draw with Belgium is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's, for Belgium's kind of struggling right now, which is interesting. I didn't necessarily expect that. And Netherlands trumping Sweden, I didn't see either. So those are a couple of surprising results. Once you've figured out whatever team it is, you can just pop.
I believe they're actually even playing today. Yep, Senegal. I feel bad for Senegal.
Oh, yeah, because by the way,
Senegal's very good, and
Senegal's really good,
and they might get blanked this entire thing.
It's so frustrating because they are really good. They are an incredible team.
And they're speaking of Norway. They're playing Norway today, and that's a tough. By the way, that's the closest odds of any matchup today because everyone else is pretty much a pretty heavy favorite on the other end. Ooh, this Senegal can go 0-3. They shouldn't be 0-3.
And that's the thing is, if you had told me like pick a team out of Africa that you think
I would have picked Senegal.
First, of course, it would be Senegal, but it has been really tough. As far as just looking ahead for the United States men's national team, Finn Balogun wants to score, and he does not want to rest versus Turkey because he wants to stay in the Golden Boot contention.
Yeah, that's great. He can get a yellow card. He should come out.
And here's the thing: is like, I completely understand. Every player wants to play. They really do.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think maybe Christian Pulisic is fine with not playing, but I completely understand that part of it. With the United States not needing him, I'm going to tell you why this is a harder decision than not to just like pull him.
Okay.
There has not been this team as constituted, despite how they look, have not played a ton of minutes together. In the last game where they started Pepe and Balogun instead of Pulisic, that was a pairing that has worked really, really well in the 187 minutes that they'd played together prior to that start. This is a team that really needs to understand exactly how to use the best offensive weapon that they have against any team that they might run up on. And sacrificing the opportunity to work on your tactics against a team like Turkey, which, by the way, you never know any given World Cup game. So you want to take your opponent seriously. This is not just, we are a well-oiled machine. This is not Argentina. This is not Spain. This is a team that needs reps, that needs to know exactly what they need to do. On the flip side, injuries, cards, you are not wrong. There is a very, so do they go out? Does he let these guys play the first 20 minutes, start doing early subs? There's a lot of decision making here. Mm-hmm. I don't love the idea of Finn sitting out completely.
Then
I really don't.
Early exit, and hopefully Pulisic can get in there and also get some reps as well. Maybe it's just that type of game of which I'd be more than fine with that. Being said, I'm going to obviously defer to experts when it comes to this and probably supporting a decision. But I got to say, if you lose Balogun in a knockout round, you're going to wonder what the fuck you gave so much a shit about Turkey about.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what you can say in every tournament, right?
Wrong.
Like, I mean, we sometimes talk about that in 7-game series, right?
Well, here Balogun's even acknowledging himself. Like he gave out his quotes, fully aware of the situation and fully aware that he wants to play, but aware of the situation he's in, that he could be out for a knockout round, which is not good. Yeah. Not good, Bob. Not great.
It really all, like, you know, you and I would have a much better idea of what they should do if we could sit in their locker room, right? And understand.
You're right.
Because, like, part of it is, okay, if you don't start Balogun, if you don't start Pulisic, who might have not started anyway purely because of his calf or whatever it might be, what is this a team where the players who go in instead are really fucking hungry and to rise to the occasion and can replicate the tactics that they want to be able to use moving forward? Does he have to do an entirely different formation because of the players he's putting in? The good thing is that if you don't put in Balogun, you can put in Gio Reyna. And you can put in some of these other people to do a different type of formation without like that really speedy, strong striker. But it is now you're like, okay, did we get away from the thing? I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because Pochettino has already proven that he's okay with switching up formations and changing things up mid-game, let alone matchup to matchup.
Yeah.
So excited to see what they decide to do. Interested to see what they decide to do. I more than anything, I love that this dude is already thinking in some way, shape. I mean, I don't think he's thinking about Golden Boot, or he didn't say he was, but I think we all know that's what he's thinking about.
Yeah.
And
he even said, "I want to score." He didn't specifically say the word Golden Boot, but you know what he means.
And you know what? Good for him, because that means he intends to be in this tournament for as long as humanly possible, and I love that.
Absolutely.
The one story I want to hit on, which is a little bit more in our wheelhouse in terms of, or not in our wheel. It's very much in our Venn diagram of sports and politics. Is Jackson Irvine from the Socceroos of Australia speaking about the new rule where you are red carded for covering your mouth while talking to another player.
Yes.
And this was born out of racist abuse that was suffered by Vinicius Jr.
Yes.
You and I covered that on the podcast at the time when Kate Abdo made her entire speech about this. And it was covered very heavily. It was a lightning rod topic, just like any time a black player comes out and says, I've experienced racial abuse. Of course, there are all the people who say, we don't know what happened. His teammate Mbappe came to his defense. We're talking about two of the most important, most notable soccer players in the world, footballers in the world, saying this happened. I heard it, I saw it, and this happened. Clearly someone believed them because this is now in the mainstream now. If you aren't familiar with Jackson Irvine, who is not the biggest star in the world, but does play in Bundesliga, he's woke. I don't know how else to put it. There's no other way we don't have language for what this guy is, but he has point blank come out and said that he supports Palestine and the people of Gaza. Mm-hmm. Hasn't parsed his language. He has talked about why. When he was asked why he supports the people, why he spoke out about it, he said, because I support the people of Palestine and Gaza not being genocided out of existence. He didn't parse his words. He was like, why? Why wouldn't I? Even his club was like, who are by and large pretty allowing of their players to say things like this, at the time was like, you sure you want to do that? And he was like, fucking trade me, dude. I don't care. I'm not, he has stood 10 toes down on trans rights and the rights of trans women to compete in sports. This is not a regular ass dude. Mm-hmm. This dude, I always talk to you about every time occasionally we get a superstar, whether or an international star, in this case, somebody who's willing to stand on business. We talked about this with Abdul Carter. There are very few athletes doing this. There's almost no white athletes doing this. Yeah. And for him to, in his answer regarding this red card situation, say, considering what happened to Vinicius Jr., like what happened to Vinny was, he brought it directly into it. He wasn't asked about it. He named him and he supported him in that moment, and also said, if you're saying something where you need to cover your mouth, you probably shouldn't be saying it. Red card, that is what it is. I think that this is the exact example that I've been talking about forever about what it looks like to stand on your principles, to stand up, and then to watch how you're received as a white person versus a black person. Because this guy has been received very well, still has his Bundesliga job, still has his national team job, and he's, said all of these things and he's never backed down. Mm-hmm. Black players don't always have that same opportunity.
Correct.
And when they do keep their jobs, they are ripped apart in the media like Vinny was.
Yeah.
This shit is so important, and we don't have anybody in the United States, no professional athletes of his caliber talking like that here. And I just wanted to shout out the fact that like this didn't actually have to be said. He didn't actually have to bring up the racist abuse and the Vinny of it all, and he did.
Mm-hmm. Well, it gives full context to the actual conversation, and he also gives context to the reporters that are there that already know the story. But for people of a mass audience that might not know the story, because the Vinicius Jr. story was not exactly
not big news here.
Wide news here. Mm-hmm. It was huge news elsewhere. Yes, it was on our radar.
Because we rule.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
one thing about us, we're not missing a big story in that space.
Clear, but let's be real clear. This is what it fucking is. So yeah. Yeah, good. I'm glad he said it.
And it was, this is the kind of stuff where it's like we're talking about the world stage as well. That these are times where goalkeepers are getting millions of Instagram followers in a couple of hours. People are watching these clips. I really don't think I remember a bigger stage. Like, I feel like this is bigger than the Olympics in some ways. Like, this is fucking nuts.
It is bigger than the Olympics.
So, I mean, like, especially because we just experienced the Winter Olympics, which is always a little bit slower than the Summer Olympics.
No one gives a shit.
Yeah, right. So, that's all right. I think that's all we had for Soccer Day. We're going to get into some fun, looser stuff over in Media Corner.
Prove it.
This is a big one for me. And I want to talk about kind of what it means and what it signals for women in sports. Mm-hmm. Sports TV trailblazer Linda Cohn is retiring from ESPN after her record-setting career. She anchored more Sports Center episodes than anyone in ESPN's history, and will retire at the end of June. She will make her final appearance on Sports Center on Friday. She hosted her first Sports Center July 11th, 1992, the 2 a.m. edition. Her 5,000th appearance was in 2016, which is crazy. That was already 10 years ago. And she's obviously a Hall of Fame sports media member. She, for me, was in my age bracket, I was a little young for Robin Roberts. So by the time I was watching Sports Center in like the early 2000s, Linda Cohn, big deal for me. She said, "What I'm most proud of is that my career lasted long enough for me to see the little girls grow up watching Sports Center, enter this business, and succeed in it. If my journey helped make that path a little easier for them, then that's the achievement I'll cherish most." Of course, I am one of those girls, 100%. I am absolutely. There are a few people who, like, you don't even always know what's happening, right? Like, I'm sure you have people like this in your life where you're like, you don't sit there and think always out loud, I'm going to be Linda Cohn, or I'm going to do this because Linda Cohn was on TV. But there are a couple people who absolutely made it clear to me that that was a possibility or something. This was a career path I could achieve. She's one of them. Jackie McMullen's one of them. And I, number one, just want to I think it's important that when we talk about this, we look at okay, what's the media landscape that they have trailblazed us to? And we are in a space where there are far more Sports Center anchors or people on TV who are hosting these kinds of. We have woman analysts now, like Mina Kimes and Laura Rutledge, and people who do that work. We have obviously the sideline has become a much more broad job than just regurgitating a couple quotes. They're much more involved, and we also now have women's sports in a huge space of real attention that we didn't have before. And so there are a lot of women covering those leagues. We have Doris Burke calling games. We have Julie Foudy calling games. And we have women who are actually in the broadcast booth calling games. We've seen it in baseball. We've seen it in every single, that is something that I never would have envisioned when I was a kid. However, I also think that there's a way that we are sort of backsliding in terms of women in men's sports and the progress. I think we have stalled out. And I think when I saw that Linda Cohn was retiring, it was like, damn, she got us so far. These women got us so far. We did so much with the opportunities that were given in front of us by these trailblazing women. But this industry has stalled us the fuck out. We are not regressing, but we are not progressing.
Okay.
And I
can see that in certain networks. I can see that the opposite in other networks. But I would honestly make the, I wouldn't say the argument. I just think this whole industry is regressing, let alone just for women in sports.
Stalled out, but
I think the industry has been eating itself, and now there's just less and less actual voices in television and radio in general. We've just seen jobs.
There's actually more. There's technically more than ever, but they're just not as high profile.
But they're not
as
nearly
they once
as high
were.
profile.
They're not.
I'm talking more in the legacy.
Segmented,
I'm talking more of the legacy gigs. I would say absolutely because of privately funded things and people on their own.
Right.
100%. There's more access in there, but there's also more noise, and that's not a fucking good thing. That is honestly a dog shit thing. It makes it impossible to get information. And now we've just created an echo chamber. Now this industry has become the echo chamber that social media is, and that is not what this fucking industry is. So I'd make the argument, there's more places, quote unquote, but it's not better. And I'd honestly say it's not even remotely better. It's 10 times worse than it ever was.
Well, when you think about we grew up with like, okay, we know that there were these like mainstay women when we were younger. Are we in a place now where there are more mainstay women?
I want to say yes, but I don't know that answer for sure because I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'll use ESPN as a specific example. The Sunday women's sports thing. There are some stars that they've really kind of built on the college women's side and just the women's side in general.
I'm talking about men's sports. And I specifically said men's sports because women's sports are using women.
Yes, and I think they're doing a phenomenal job and creating stars out of it. And I'm hoping there's going to be more crossover.
But what I think has happened is they've started saying the women can cover the women's sports.
See, I don't want that. See, I think there can be crossover.
Because think about it, like we've got one real woman's like NFL analyst.
You're not
that we
wrong.
can talk about, right?
Yes.
We've got who's the women's NBA analyst?
That's a good question.
Monica McNutt has done stuff.
Monica McNutt for sure. She's doing quite a bit. There's a few others that do. Few WNBA stars that you can definitely see in the panel specifically, but you're absolutely right, not enough of them.
Well, and I guess this is my point.
Like Candace Parker, you'll see in a group with them as well, but like
occasionally, right?
Not enough.
And that's the thing is like we can still name on two hands the women who are really standing out to us who are covering men's sports. That's about the same as it was 25 years ago.
You're not wrong. I suppose it's just kind of blinded to it because of how many women I am actually seeing because women's sports are a little bit on the up.
And you work with women, like you've had multiple women co-hosts.
Very true. So maybe I might be a little blinded to this a little bit more than others are.
Yeah, and I think that there's like there's also a regression, which is very clear. There's a regression just in the reception around women in sports. I have seen it. I came into the industry in 2010. And of course, there was always a very specific vibe of like, you were always going to get the go make a sandwich people go to the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, they exist.
Right. But like the conversation around it has gotten so toxic for men and women. So, you and I, we probably experience pretty similar levels of toxicity on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you're getting, you're not getting sexism. You're getting more like, other stuff, but we're both dealing with a similar level of toxicity. Mine's a lot more sexist and misogynist. The difference is that when you and I are getting that kind of, that same level of toxicity, across league wide, or I guess like on the macro level, it's going to hurt me more because of the fact that I'm already technically marginalized in sports media, right? So like if I'm getting that much toxicity and I'm bringing that much attention to myself, what are networks going to look at? What are directors going to look at? What are, network owners and all these presidents? You're always going to get a bigger benefit of the doubt than I am. That is purely misogyny. We've seen it and it'll continue. And that means we have not made the progress that we need to make. And I think about, what the best way to honor the legacy of these people would be. The Robin Roberts, the Linda Cohns, the Jackie Macks, the Leslies, all of them is in some way, shape, or form to be allowed to do what the men do, how the men do it in our own way and in our own space and in the ways that are unique to women and not having to mimic how men behave. And we have not arrived there and we're really not close. And, And my mission is that in 20 years, I'm looking back and seeing women not get punished for the things that I'm getting punished for now. And you know, that's kind of, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet to know we made the progress. And also, I think that if it had gone the way it was supposed to go, if people had learned the right lessons from someone like Linda Cohn, if they'd learned the right lessons from someone like Mina Kimes, if they'd learned the right lessons from someone like Monica McNutt, we would be a broader part of the conversation rather than the tokenized few.
Yeah, we'll just use an example from earlier on in the show when we're talking about Becky Hammon and her comments towards Jalen Brunson. You know who else said that about Jalen Brunson? Fucking everyone! Yet we're vilifying Becky Hammon for some fucking reason. And I believe I saw Stephen A. Smith go on a fucking stage with some of the Knicks yesterday. So everyone can just fuck right off. I'm sorry you don't like women. They're probably smarter than you and better than you at fucking everything. Probably beat your ass in an arm wrestling competition too. Fucking
yeah,
bitches.
Did you see my rant about that this weekend?
No, what was that?
Oh, I went on a rant about that. I was like, you guys have got to get over the fact that the need to dehumanize a woman who's smarter than you, because you it's like, okay, I can't fuck them and I can't beat them in a debate, and now they need to be put in their place because those things bother me. I can't, you could say what you want to say to me because I can always handle it. I absolutely have all the ability to handle that. But you have wives, mothers, daughters, friends. You got to get a grip on your ability to recognize this woman is really smart. I can learn from her. I really enjoy the work she's doing. And it's okay that I'm attracted to her and also can't do anything about it. You have to learn to be okay with that. We've got to get to a place where you're okay with that, because that is at the core of so much of the misogyny that I experience, which is they immediately go back to the strip joint, go back to your OnlyFans. Don't be such a fucking whore. Why are you naked on the internet? And it's always you're going to very sexualized industries because your first thought is, why is she attractive and smarter than me? And that's that instills a fucking anger and fear and rage in them. And that's simply so deeply not my fucking problem. And if you're making it my problem, you're making it the women in your life's problem. And that freaks me out. It really does. Yeah. Get a grip.
I'm well aware that little bitch boys exist. They're just
I just don't
the
understand
worst.
Whatever happened to admiring someone from afar and enjoying that. Admire me from afar. I'm fine with that. I never told you not to. I put my knees out on the internet all the goddamn time for your pleasure. I'm doing that for you people. Take it, enjoy it.
Don't tell them to take it. Those guys don't like it when you tell them to take it. They're just a bunch of little bitch boys. It's just what it is. What are you going to do? Speaking of bitch boys, Skip Bayless was talking.
Skip Bayless was talking. This one fucking kills me. This is peak brain rot. This is exactly what you were talking about, where we have gotten to the point where it's just an echo chamber of the stupidest takes on the internet have become what mainstream famous sports media people are saying.
Yes.
Skip Bayless
is a dumb fuck, but that's not what you're about to say. I can't believe
he tweeted this. Okay. So Skip Bayless tweeted, commenter just ruined the moment by comparing Messi with Michael Jordan and LeBron. So naive, so wrong, so blasphemous. MJ, yes. LBJ, no. Now, we know that this is Skip Bayless's move. We know what he's doing here. Obviously, this is, of course, rage bait. That does not change the fact that he does not have the shame or embarrassment to not tweet something like this.
Nope.
And here's what I want to know. At what point do we just...
put him in a home?
Well, put him and Stephen A in a home together so they can live out their best Grace and Frankie life.
Lovely.
But at what point do we acknowledge that LeBron lives rent-free in the heads of these sports media talking heads more than anyone I've ever seen? How did LeBron end up with catching a stray when the most obvious comparison for someone like Messi is absolutely LeBron, based on the fact that they are the same fucking age, have been playing at the same time, and have longevity in their favor. And that's the whole point of the goddamn comparison. That's the whole point of the comparison. We're not talking about titles, because you want to know what's really fucking fascinating about Messi? He only became a really elite international player in the last handful of years. This is a new chapter for him over the last 5-6 years to be an elite international player. Of course, he was always elite. Like, and yes, he was always great. But like, he was a club star, and he was rocking it in Europe. This is evidence of his longevity. Who do we associate with longevity in the United States? Tom Brady, LeBron, Serena, those people. Am I like, what the fuck are we talking about anymore? Why is LeBron always such a trigger issue for people? Can someone in the chat tell me, if you hate LeBron, can you tell me why it's such a trigger when people are compared to LeBron as a GOAT? Like, what, are you okay? Is everything okay at home? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Honestly, this is just brain rot and a guy who literally the only thing that he had in his arsenal towards the end of his career was just trying to shanya on LeBron.
You say that, but there'll be several people in the chat or our comments who are like, he's actually kind of right.
Tanya, those are fucking idiots.
No, those are our viewers. But I respect them.
But those ones that are saying that out loud, come on, they're fucking idiots. And they know that. I love and respect our listeners, but for the love of God.
Are you guys being idiots on purpose just to trigger us?
Because at the end of the day, if there is a single human being that has anything negative to say about LeBron James' longevity, career, path, or fucking anything, they're just a fucking idiot. There is nothing else to say. There's no conversations of comparing from this guy to this guy. You're just a fucking idiot now.
Yes.
The end. It's just, this is the most tired, old man shit that just to get attention. And I honestly, I'm not even giving it attention that I'm like mad at him. I'm finding this to be fucking sad. This is sad now.
Yes.
I find this incredibly sad. You're like this old, withering 78-year-old man. You're like, LeBron. It's fuck. You think this is like great clickbait from 2009. It's not anymore. This is just the ramblings of a sad old man that no one gives a fuck about. And I'm loving that Stephen A. Smith and people are starting to see this about this dipshit. I'm glad some of you are starting to open your eyes. It's just a shitty, stupid grift. It's annoying. It's the same thing. It's a weak playbook. Fucking stop looking at the dumb playbook and just fucking learn.
It's like what we talked about in the show last time, where it was like the playing to the lowest common denominator. What's the stupidest fan gonna think? And if you have that opinion, it works because it caters to the stupidest fan, and then it makes the people who actually have an understanding of any level of nuance very angry. And in the conversation, so the sidetrack, the thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is something I'm sure you've seen a lot, is the conversation around Messi versus Ronaldo. Okay. Yep. So this is for you. It's for our viewers. It's for our listeners. It's for whoever wants to feel a little bit more knowledgeable about this conversation, because what I have been seeing happen on the internet, because of the phenomenons you just mentioned, is nobody seems to understand why Messi and why Ronaldo would even be mentioned in the same breath as Lionel Messi. Mm-hmm. This is like, it has become a thing where it's like, that's a fucking joke. Why would anybody even say that? It is constant. I'm seeing it all the time. And as somebody who's been watching the sport the entire time, I have to tell you, that's a conversation that's been being had and was being had for a long time. And just like in other GOAT conversations, perhaps like a Brady Manning situation or whatever else, one player continues on and just surpasses the other. But it was absolutely a conversation for a long time. And I just we're going to set some things straight here.
Sure.
Okay. So Messi versus Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo is 2 years older than Lionel Messi. Mm-hmm. Okay. Career goals, Lionel Messi has 916. Cristiano Ronaldo has 973. Lionel Messi has about 150 more assists than Cristiano Ronaldo. Understandable, based on the way they play their position. Ballon d'Ors. Lionel Messi has 8. Cristiano Ronaldo has 5. European gold shoes. Lionel Messi has 6. Cristiano Ronaldo has 4. FIFA World Cups. Lionel Messi, after the last one, had 1. He has 1. He won 1. It was the last. Cristiano Ronaldo has 0. Now, bear in mind, Cristiano Ronaldo is from Portugal. Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. Continental trophies, which for Messi is Copa America and for Cristiano Ronaldo is Euros and Nations League. Cristiano has 3. Messi has 2. Cristiano Ronaldo has 5 Champions League wins. Messi has 4. Mm-hmm. For years, they had a massive rivalry between Real Madrid and Barcelona. obviously the two greats going up against each other all that time. Ronaldo came out on top in those with Real Madrid. These are the kinds of conversations that led to that debate happening. And at his peak, Cristiano Ronaldo was absolutely the best player in the world, even while Messi was playing. That has since changed. And it started to change a long time ago. Their styles are different. And I believe Messi his style was made for longevity. And he is just naturally the better player across the course of his career, start to finish. He is fucking crushed. Winning a World Cup is always going to give you the edge. Absolutely. Winning more Ballon d'Ors is absolutely going to give you the edge. But we do not have to live in a world where we don't understand why the 1B is Cristiano Ronaldo. That's very easy to understand. That is very fucking easy. We don't need to be dumb about this. I don't want us, after this wonderful World Cup time, this wonderful World Cup where we've hosted it and just delighted in football, to come out of this being the motherfucking stupid Americans who can't, because we know Skip Bayless can't possibly have a GOAT debate. We know. Oh my God, God forbid.
He's had one GOAT debate for the last 25
years. But we don't have to be like that, guys. We can be better. We can do this for the football world community and say we understand why the conversation existed before, how incredible all-time fucking one of the greatest players of all time Cristiano Ronaldo is, and also say Messi surpassed him. That's the GOAT. We can do it all, guys. I really believe in us. And I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Oh, you don't think so?
Nope. There's not going to be nuance in this. There's never going to be context taken in this. And right now, frankly, people are seeing what's in front of them right now. This is a real first-time option for all the Americans right now who are seeing both of these guys really play in our actual time zone for the first time in a World Cup scenario.
He's 41. Like, do a little bit of research.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just being realistic.
I'm not yelling at you.
One of them's 41 years old and is not the same guy anymore, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And by the way, let's make it clear. Insufferable.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking insufferable to boot. His teammates clearly fucking hate him.
I will say, I don't necessarily fully agree with that assessment as
much. They
much.
are very annoyed at him right now.
I think they're annoyed by the questions. And I do think that they're like, I wish this motherfucker just wasn't starting.
Yes.
I don't think they hate that, like, quite literally Portugal owes everything about where they're at in the world stage to Cristiano Ronaldo.
I couldn't agree more.
So,
but are we? Listen, I'm focused on the right now, and what I saw in that last game was Cristiano Ronaldo cost them the game, not help them. He shouldn't be out there at the moment.
He needs to come in as a super sub with fucking 15 minutes to go. That's what he needs to do, and I don't know why he won't.
So,
but
listen,
I do know why he won't, because he's Cristiano Ronaldo.
That being said. That doesn't mean he's not one of the greatest of all time, if not the 1B that you just said. He's just 41 years old thinking he's still 35 right now. And I think that's funny. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of a cocky prick that I like seeing fall kind of on his face. Does it take away from his borderline GOAT status? No.
No, and I mean, really.
But I am going to enjoy it.
I say he's 1B to Messi in terms of their era, but like we can't, I mean, there's Diego Maradona, there's Pele. Like there are some people in that conversation that are just like a totally different ball game.
There's Mbappe, who could finally win the World Cup.
Okay, stop saying that. Because
finally!
If people don't know the context.
Well, Google it. Finally.
Okay, yeah. Well, he's been at it for a long time.
So long.
He's been
Mocha,
trying.
when's it going to happen? I don't know. 2019.
No, but he didn't. The thing is, I genuinely really believe. Well, we also had the pandemic thing, so who the fuck knows?
Yeah, it was in that window.
Yeah,
it was a real fucked up time.
I genuinely believe that we can do better in these. I think you know what? I think I just decided, Cody. I have a mission.
Yeah.
I have a mission statement as a through line for our podcast.
Listening.
I think we can make GOAT debates great again.
No.
I think we can. No, you and I can. We absolutely can. We possess the nuance to have really fun, interesting conversations about these players.
I agree, but the GOAT debates.
That's what I'm saying. You're that feeling that you're having is because of everybody else. We can change the narrative. We can change our personal relationship to the trauma we have around GOAT debates. We can do that.
I'm also firmly against making anything great again.
Well, we can make it enjoyable again. We can make it...
The context of something again, It's just something I don't want to be a part of anymore.
We can make it cool for the first time.
So if we add a lot more syllables and more words.
We can make it really fun, sexy, cool for the first time ever.
That sounds like a TLC album.
Yeah, that's supposed to.
I like what you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
You're getting me on board.
All right. Do you want to talk about some movies?
I would like to talk about
Let's go to Pop Culture Corner.
I love that.
Cody, you actually mentioned this to me, that you're kind of hype about where the movie situation is at right now. It looks like we might be having a movie resurgence summer.
So I saw Obsession finally, and it really, really kind of made me think a little bit and talk about, because there's one thing that is absolutely, throughout these last couple of years, we've been watching movies kind of be subsided and kind of take a back seat and not making the money it once did. That being said, I do think there are outlier years, and I do think that certain things become passé. We go through modes every few years. The Western was the biggest thing in the world, then science fiction became the biggest thing in the world, then the 80s horror slasher became the biggest thing in the world. Then the action years became the biggest thing in the world.
And then it was like apocalypse action movies.
Then gritty films became the thing in the world in the 70s. And we go in these ebbs and flows where things need to be splashy, then things need to be bleak, and then things need to be splashy, then things need to be bleak. And we're kind of in the middle, in between right now, as far as the movie audience goes. But there's one thing that seems like we're getting back to a bleak time again, because one thing that's been making money in theaters, that unquestionably, especially at an exponential rate based on their budgets, has been horror movies.
That's not new, though.
That is not new, but
that's actually been an evergreen thing across horror for a long time.
But it's been even more exponential as of late, because there's been more influxes of young filmmakers. There's been more an influx of
almost like a post-COVID.
Very much so, and new ways of making films, which, by the way, could be for better or for worse as times go forward. We'll see how that goes. But you're also still getting your tentpoles. I do think, and I have a theory, that this summer is going to be a big, massive comeback for the cinema industry. Now, there have been some missteps already. We've already seen that The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I will freely admit was a movie, I'm a Star Wars fan, I didn't want to see.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It just wasn't interesting.
And I actually really loved the first season of The Mandalorian. I like, who doesn't like Grogu? He's so cute. I love him. But
that show kind of fell off a little bit in the third season. And frankly,
now if they had done Andor and Grogu.
Oh my goodness, Andor was a masterpiece of a show.
Although we can't do that. But.
That being said, watching as cinemas going forward, we're going to get some of those tentpoles coming out. People are thinking there's superhero fatigue. I do think there's an aspect of that is true.
Yeah.
But I think it's fatigue of shit superhero content. Marvel has kind of had some misfires over the last couple of years. There's also the narrative about them putting out products that really were very much unfinished. Not to mention, and part of that is COVID. Part of that is how money was allocated. Part of that was a mandate from Disney saying we have to keep putting out more and more and more fucking content.
Yeah.
And I understood that during the COVID era, but after that, the content had to kind of pitter out because people weren't seeing the content, because the content factory was just becoming shitty. And now you have an opportunity from DC right now. They're kind of taking their times with their new novel approach. That being said, we have a Supergirl movie. I'm interested to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I have not been able to stay excited about Superman or Supergirl.
I want to see it very much, but I do think that's a movie that's not going to do well its first week. But maybe if it's a good movie, the word of mouth can kind of carry it along a little bit.
Who's directing it?
That is a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. But then you also have the new Spider-Man movie, which is going to make $1 billion.
And I love the Spider-Man movies.
I got to admit, it looks fantastic. You have the Odyssey. We know that's going to make $1 billion. I already got my ticket to that. We have a big amount of summer blockbusters that I am actually quite excited to go and see, along with a lot of movies that are very low budget that I want to see. I wanted to finally see Obsession. It was fantastic. Look forward to seeing it. Possibly again. Backrooms intrigues me, but I looked at the plot. I'm like, I don't know if I can get into this.
Yeah,
it seems a little Slenderman-esque to me.
Yeah,
and that's not really my thing.
Of,
That being said, it's getting very good reviews, and it's making an outrageous amount of money.
I think, the one thing I'm going to pause on, or maybe like push back on, or whatever, is everything you're talking about right now outside of the horror space, which again is where this always happens. We always get original IP in horror. We're talking about Spider-Man and Supergirl and The Odyssey, right? Like we're talking about, and I think the real resurgence is always when we start seeing more original IP.
Yes.
When we start seeing broader genres coming in and doing really well. When was the last time we had a really successful rom-com in the movies? When was the last time we had a really successful dark comedy in the movies? Like these are, when I see that stuff, we lived through the heyday of comedies.
Yes, we did.
Heyday of rom-coms.
Yes, we did.
I would say from the 90s into the 2000s.
No question.
After that was like just truly fucking blockbuster comedies. And those are the things that I feel like when we see those start to happen, because that's what we're missing. They go to Netflix. Those movies go to Netflix, or they go to Amazon, or they go to Hulu, or they go to Peacock. They don't go to the movies.
No, they don't.
And I miss that experience.
I absolutely do too. And the thing is, I think it's a marketing issue, obviously, because you have to give people a reason to spend their money to go to the fucking movies.
Yeah.
See, the movies I want to go see are at a smaller theater. Like, if it's a big tentpole film, of course, I want to see that at like an AMC or something like that. But for the most part, I'd rather be in a small movie theater, and those are becoming harder and harder to find these days.
I miss the Landmark so much.
God, the Landmark.
I miss the Landmark so fucking much.
Those of you that don't know, the Landmark was a theater down on Pico in West Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And my God, it was my favorite movie theater
Ours
in the
too.
world. I would go out of my way just to go to that movie theater all the time.
It's not really out of the way for you. It's
No,
not that
it's fairly
far.
close,
Yeah.
but man, I just loved that place.
It was
my other favorite place
the
is the
best.
Aero Theater, which is right up here, but
Yeah.
it's not like it's a comfortable place. It's an
Right.
old movie theater,
Yeah.
and that's part of its charm.
Right.
Yeah,
but like if you wanted to see like the best thing about it, and this is what we lost when we lost theaters like the Landmark, which was like the premier theater to do that at in Los Angeles on the West Side, was that we lost the opportunity to go and see all the like Oscar winners and the prestige movies
all
and whatever
in one theater,
in a place where like they would be playing like
but they'd also be playing Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you had like a real theater experience, but they would do the like director's cuts, and then the director would show up.
I would do it all the time. I remember I saw both Che Part 1 and 2 and saw with a Q&A afterwards with Steven Soderbergh.
Yes.
There. And it was phenomenal.
And those were
phenomenal
like,
stuff.
Those to me, like that was like the perfect theater going experience. Really nice bar right there.
Very much so. And restaurant, by the way.
Bar and restaurant.
Like
exactly.
it was fantastic. And I miss
So we don't even have that
spots like that.
for like in a movie town, right? Like Los Angeles that was one thing. And I should say, moving out here, that was one thing where I was like, oh, people weren't lying when they said like, this is actually a better town to see a movie.
100%.
I didn't, like it always sounds a little pretentious, right? But I say the same thing about like, I actually don't think that this is a great town to see live music in. I think I love seeing live music a lot better in other places. This is not a great live music city. It has beautiful venues. It has incredible venues, but this is not a great live music city. The crowds
I don't think it's a great
and
theater
the vibe.
city. Like if I see theater, that's New York City.
No, I'm talking about like bands. There are 15 cities in this country where like I have been where like just doesn't matter. The Greek, the all the incredible places that you have to see music here, they just don't compare to the crowds and whatever. It's not the musicians, it's the crowds.
No, I hear what you're saying,
when
but the
you
Hollywood
go to
Bowl
see,
is my favorite place to go.
That's fine. And you grew up in Los Angeles, and I understand that that's special to you, but it just doesn't compare to some of the environments of live music. Like the crowds are never what they should be. Like if you think about the best time you had at the Hollywood Bowl, the greatest crowd you ever experienced, it just doesn't compare to seeing live music in other cities. I will say though, it's the exact opposite seeing movies out here. The opportunity to see movies in a place where people really cared about movies was something I genuinely didn't recognize until I moved to Los Angeles. And like seeing these great films in these nice theaters that were designed to cater to film lovers, and being in a place where we all really cared. And this is pre-COVID. This is what I'm talking about.
Place was special.
It was special. And like, and there would be a buzz in the city when there was a movie that everybody was talking about, when there was something that was a real fucking thing.
Like word of mouth was a real thing out here. Like big time.
I loved it. The billboards were everywhere. I don't even have that the way we used to. I miss that so much. And I think that the real sign is when we do start getting buzz about movies that are not mainstream, like the way that we used to, where it would be like, oh, that movie was out in LA 3 weeks ago. They just heard about it in New York.
No, I agree,
right?
but I do think we're getting a smattering of that, along with some big temples that I do think can bring in the big numbers as well. And if that happens, I'm hoping that is a carryover into the awards season, which happens in the Novembers and the Decembers. Yeah. But you're not wrong. You know what got me to go to the theaters for that? Was a theater like the Landmark that showed everything there. The art house pictures along with the tentpole pictures. We don't have nearly enough of that here. Now, there's some good AMCs out here.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still, like, listen,
it's still an AMC.
Yeah.
You still feel like you're in a fucking theme park.
Yeah, we go to the Cinemark, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the where we usually see most of our movies is the Cinemark. Love a Cinemark. Great.
Yeah.
Great bars and food and whatever and all the great fancy seats.
But I don't feel like I'm an adult. I
Right.
feel like I'm walking into a Universal Studios.
And you know, I used to take my mom to the Landmark all the time, and like she would agree. Like she loves the fancy seats at the Cinemark. She loves to be able to recline. But if I told her the Landmark opened up and we can like back up and we could go to it, she'd be in a heartbeat. She'd be like,
Yeah.
we're doing that 100%. Yes, yes. And so to your point, like I am really excited for what like the summer blockbusters could bring. I, by the way, never saw. Wait.
I want to correct somebody over here because I have to correct this.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm feeling fortunate that Detroit has smaller theaters and great smaller concert venues. I'm surprised LA. It does. Tanya's a fucking lunatic. Los Angeles has the most amount of the Whiskey A Go Go, the Troubadour, the Roxy,
no.
And then huge venues.
What did I just say?
You're talking big venues. I know.
I said. I literally, hold on.
No,
I said
music venues
they have incredible venues.
Yeah, but you hate them. You hate the crowds, you should say.
I love the Troubadour. It is my favorite place to see music.
The Troubadour.
It's the only place that I think it compares to other places that I've been in the country. The Troubadour to me gives me the vibe that I get other places. What he's talking about is correct. It is better to see music in Detroit.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Okay.
And it's not the venues. The venues here fucking rule.
They're killer.
People here aren't music fans in the same way. I don't know if it is the vibe, if there's so many transplants bringing different tastes, different whatever. I don't know what it is. I've never been able to put my finger on it, but I'm not the only one who said it. Like literally everybody who's not an LA transplant that I have talked to or who is or who isn't an LA native, I don't know how to explain it other than to say, I never go to a concert and think these people suck. But it's always missing the next level of the experience I've had in other places.
Okay, I think there must be eras involved in this. This must be a much more nuanced and newer era because I've grown up in Los Angeles through multiple eras where even before my time, let's say in the 70s where Hollywood Boulevard was crazy, then the 80s when it was really fucking crazy. Then it kind of died out in the 90s because everything moved to kind of Seattle. Then the 2000s, it really picked back up in LA again.
It's not to say that that incredible music and incredible venues aren't here. Like that's inarguable. This is one of the biggest cities and one of the most cultural cities in the country. So incredible bands, incredible moments. The Troubadour and these places are truly iconic for a reason.
Someone would actually like to know, is it better than Boston? Because I actually don't know the answer to that.
No, Boston is a much better music city.
Really?
Yeah. It's a much better place to see. So like the Paradise is something like the Troubadour, right? There's like these clubs there that were like I would go to and whatever. And the crowds are really different. And it's never that the musician is playing better in Boston than they are in Los Angeles. It's better in, Philly than they are in Los Angeles. It is always about like being in the crowd and how they're experiencing the music and how that like energy is being built in it. Like that's the whole thing about live music is the energy of the crowd. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. And, like it just is, I do think that there is a disconnect in some way, shape or form. I think a lot of people in Los Angeles, I feel this way about Lakers games. And I think this translates to a lot of like concert going experiences, even in these smaller places. There's just people getting tickets, people getting like, it's not as organic. The crowds are like, oh, let's just go do this thing. And I don't know, that's my only theory. I think the music is better I think seeing live music is better in New York. I think it's better in Boston. I think it's better in Seattle. I think it's better in Philly. I think it's better in New Orleans. I think it's better in Chicago. Like,
I definitely agree with Chicago. And New Orleans too, but New Orleans is also very different as well. You're looking that's a very specific type of music.
No, I'm literally talking about like whether you are at a bar watching a live band perform or you're at an amphitheater.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the crazy part is Chris and I, different coasts, raised entirely different places, entirely different music experiences growing up. He agrees, and he loves music more than anybody I know. He's seen more live music than you or I combined. He's like, there's something weird about LA. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a take. So you know what, Detroit guy, I'm on your side.
Well, there is a couple of people talking about Detroit in here, but absolutely. What are you going to do? I guess Detroit's the best. I actually have only been to Detroit once. I would love to go. Actually, go back to
Detroit's
Detroit
fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I've only been once, and I actually really enjoyed it.
But I will say, as far as like getting to go to cool, like the Hollywood Bowl is amazing. These places are amazing, and by the way, if we ever got to go to a show at the Troubadour together, I would love that. That is
the Troubadour. What a fucking
It's funny because after saying all of this, my favorite place in the world, if I could pick my favorite band and watch them play somewhere, it would be at the Troubadour.
And by the way, I like the whiskey, but the whiskey's fine.
It's fine.
The Roxy's fine. Troubadour is the shit.
Troubadour
is a great place to catch a show.
Love it so much. So having said all that, LA does possess my favorite music club.
And if I'm going to an indoor arena, I mean, I don't love seeing a concert at Staples. I've seen a few there at Staples. It's not a great concert venue. I've seen many at the Forum. I think the Forum is fun. A phenomenal concert
The Forum's
venue.
pretty fun. If you're going to go to an arena,
But I haven't seen Intuit yet either. And I haven't seen anything really big enough to play at SoFi.
I'm a little woo-woo for obvious reasons in my family. The Forum has the vibe.
Yes, it does.
There's history in its bones. And I genuinely believe the history in its bones. I think it's probably because there are all those working class cities. I don't think of LA as a working class city. That's one of our comments.
That's fair.
And that might be.
What do you think of that, Mocha?
So I was gonna say the exact same thing, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that it's because it's LA's culture. It's an LA culture thing, and I feel like they're too pretentious to really get into it as a crowd.
I could see that because they're more reserved a little bit.
Oh, look who's finally agreeing with the take I debuted.
I don't know. There is an aspect where some people, but
that's what I was saying about the Lakers.
I think it depends on where you're going.
They're judgy.
They are, but can I give an example? Go to like a beach fest that'll have a bunch of bands like Sublime and shit like that,
sure.
Or I really feel like that vibe is completely different than a stuck up crowd at a different venue. I'll even say my favorite venue, the Hollywood Bowl. I could definitely see it at the Hollywood Bowl being a little more stuffy crowds there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, of course. I think the smaller, the more niche that you're getting, the more likely you are to get an authentic crowd, of course. I've seen the same artist in a smaller venue in LA and then also in Boston and then also in New York.
A festival on the beach in Hermosa, The Offspring plays.
Oh, that sounds awful.
How dare you?
Not the Offspring, the crowd.
How dare you?
I'm not gonna lie. An LA beach crowd sounds awful. I love the LA beaches, but no.
She's walking. That's where the warts get exposed. The thing gets flawed just because you hate LA people.
I don't. I love my LA locals. It's everybody else I don't like. I think if you could have a whole concert full of LA locals, I actually think it'd be fucking amazing. I think the problem is there's too many transplants here.
There are a lot of
all these different places where the interests are different, the vibe is different, the whatever. And I think I do think to Mocha's point, there's a lot of the I'm just going to go do this thing because
there is a lot of that. And you mentioned Laker games, which is very much a thing.
That's when I'm at the Hollywood Bowl, I'm it feels like 60% of the people here got tickets because they were I have nothing else to do. It's the Hollywood Bowl, I might as well. Or got free tickets from somebody else or whatever. Or they're just doing it. It does not feel.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's all the people that moved here and ruined it. That's not us, people.
Fair enough.
That's the Shane Black line, dude, from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's like somebody took the United States from the East Coast and shook it, and all the normal people fucking held on.
I never blamed it on the LA locals, to be fair.
Because we're fucking awesome.
Exactly.
See that, Mocha? We're awesome, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Respect to my LA locals. Okay,
well, an hour and a half again.
We weren't supposed to do that.
That was on you.
What? Don't blame me.
You wrote the rundown. This is on you.
It's not.
Gotta be on somebody.
I made a light rundown.
Yet we made a feast out of this shit. We didn't even get to the fucking bloody sock again.
Well, see, this is the thing. I had a light rundown. I thought at least at the end we can get to the bloody sock, but you kept talking.
Well, you know what? Oh, I kept talking.
Yeah,
I kept talking.
You're always so yappy, Cody.
My God. Well, you know what? Regardless, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that alert button when we go live. We will be back on Friday talking all that shit, and we will get to the bloody sock because Tanya, fuck Kurt Schilling.
Fuck Kurt Schilling.